In the vast tapestry of human existence, amidst the triumphs of creation and compassion, there exists a thread of profound darkness. A chilling capacity for cruelty that, though rare, serves as a stark reminder of the complex and sometimes terrifying nature of our own species. Prepare yourselves, as we peel back the veneer of normalcy to gaze into the abyss, seeking not to glorify but to understand the chilling phenomena of those who prey upon their fellow humans. Here are the top 5 serial killers. Coming in at rank 5, a phantom who haunted Northern California in the late 1960s and early 1970s. He called himself the Zodiac, a name synonymous with terror and unsolved mystery. He craved notoriety, taunting the police and the public with bizarre and cryptic letters. The Zodiac's reign began with brutal attacks on young couples in secluded areas. He claimed responsibility for numerous murders, though only a handful were definitively linked to him. One of the most distinctive aspects was his use of complex ciphers. He challenged the brightest minds to decode his messages, promising they contained his identity. Only one cipher was definitively solved, revealing a rambling message. The fear spread like a contagion throughout the region. People altered their routines, parents kept their children closer. His ability to evade capture added to his mythical status. He developed a distinct visual signature, a circle with a cross through it. The Zodiac's communications were performative, crafting his own dark legend. The investigation was one of the most extensive and frustrating in American history. To this day, the identity of the Zodiac killer remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American crime. In the turbulent cultural landscape of the late 1960s, a different kind of predator emerged from the counterculture fringes of California. Following at rank 4, Charles Manson, an ex-convict with messianic delusions, gathered around him a coterie of impressionable, often vulnerable, young followers. He did not, for the most part, commit the murders himself. Instead, he orchestrated them, wielding an almost hypnotic influence over his family, as they became chillingly known. Manson preached of an impending apocalyptic race war, which he termed helter-skelter, believing that the murders committed by his family would help to precipitate this cataclysm. The most infamous of the Manson family's crimes were the Tate LaBianca murders. Over 2 horrifying nights, members of the family, acting on Manson's instructions, brutally slaughtered 7 people in Los Angeles. The victims included the actress Sharon Tate, who was 8.5 months pregnant, and several of her friends, followed by Lino and Rosemary LaBianca the next night. The brutality of these murders sent shockwaves across the nation and, indeed, the world. Charles Manson was eventually convicted, not for personally committing the murders, but for conspiracy and incitement. Coming in at rank 3, the Milwaukee Cannibal, a descent into unspeakable horrors. Jeffrey Dahmer, often known as the Milwaukee Cannibal, represents a descent into some of the most profoundly disturbing territories of human pathology. His crimes, committed between 1978 and 1991, involved not only murder, but also necrophilia, dismemberment, and cannibalism, acts that defy easy comprehension. Dahmer primarily targeted young men, often minorities, luring them back to his apartment with promises of money or alcohol. Once there, his victims were drugged, strangled, and then subjected to his gruesome post-mortem rituals. Unlike killers who sought public infamy, Dahmer's motivations appeared to stem from a desperate, twisted desire for complete control and possession over his victims, an attempt to prevent them from ever leaving him. When police entered his apartment, they were confronted with a scene of unimaginable horror. Human remains stored in various states, photographs documenting his atrocities, and tools used for dismemberment. His progression from disturbing fantasies to actual homicidal acts was a gradual, chilling escalation, culminating in a spree that claimed the lives of 17 young men and boys. Dahmer was eventually found guilty but legally sane and sentenced to multiple life terms. He was murdered by a fellow inmate in 1994. Rank 2. The Charmer and the Butcher, Ted Bundy's Mask of Sanity. Our next subject is a chilling study in duality, a man who presented a handsome, charming, and intelligent facade to the world, while concealing a monstrous predator beneath. Theodore Ted Bundy was responsible for the brutal murders of at least 30 young women across several American states during the 1970s. His ability to gain the trust of his victims, often by feigning injury or impersonating authority figures, made him an exceptionally dangerous and elusive killer. Bundy's outward appearance and demeanor were key to his deadly success. He was articulate, well-dressed, and often described as charismatic. This mask of sanity, as it has been called, allowed him to operate with terrifying effectiveness, luring unsuspecting women into his control before subjecting them to horrific violence. His reign of terror spanned multiple states, including Washington, Oregon, Utah, Colorado, and Florida. This geographic mobility, coupled with his cunning, made him incredibly difficult to track. He would often abduct his victims from public places, sometimes in broad daylight, using ruses such as wearing a fake cast and asking for help carrying books or impersonating a police officer. The brutality of Bundy's crimes was extreme. His victims were typically bludgeoned, raped, and strangled. Ted Bundy's legacy is a chilling reminder that predators can exist among us, hidden behind masks of normalcy and charm. And finally, rank 1, the Killer Clown. John Wayne Gacy's Suburban Nightmare. John Wayne Gacy, the jovial community man and children's party clown known as Pogo, concealed a prolific serial killer. Between 1972 and 1978, in Chicago's suburbs, Gacy lured at least 33 young men and boys to his home, where he tortured and murdered them. Gacy was a pillar of his community, a successful contractor, and active in local politics. He entertained children as Pogo the Clown at parties and charity events. This public persona served as an impenetrable disguise for the monster within. His victims were typically teenagers or young men, often transient or seeking employment. Gacy lured them to his home with offers of work, alcohol, or drugs. He used a ruse, such as a magic trick involving handcuffs, to restrain them. What followed was a horrifying ordeal of torture and sexual assault, culminating in their strangulation or asphyxiation. A search of Gacy's home uncovered a scene of unimaginable ghastliness. The crawl space beneath his house was a mass grave, containing the remains of 29 of his victims. 4 other bodies were found buried elsewhere on his property or disposed of in the nearby Des Plaines River. John Wayne Gacy was convicted of 33 murders in 1980 and sentenced to death. He spent 14 years on death row, during which time he took up painting, often depicting clowns, skulls, and other unsettling imagery. He was executed by lethal injection in 1994. The legacy of John Wayne Gacy is a profoundly unsettling one. Follow for more top 5 videos.